Another beautiful day. The sky is blue and all the leaves are green. My name's Trey Holiday and you're watching the Holiday Road. Today I'm at Space Center Houston. I'm going to take a look around, see what all cool stuff they have to offer. Let's go take a look. I'm going to go inside that space shuttle, but first I want to go check out the Saturn V before it gets too crowded. And there in the distance is the building with the Saturn V in it. That's where we're heading. And here comes Neptune.
Space Center Houston.
Here we go.
We're journey over to the Johnson Space Center, which is one else of the Saturn V rocket, and so the implementation of the Space Launch System, or SLS rockets. The Saturn V was one of the world's tallest, heaviest, and most powerful rockets in existence. This particular rocket inside of this building is the only flight certified Saturn V left in the entire world, and it is made up of pieces from the 3 Council Apollo missions. Behind this building, you will see 2 mock-up rockets on display.
This is the only one that's
the shorter rocket with the red top.
All right, behind me you see a little Joe rocket. It's very small. It never actually flew into space. Just a test rocket to test like a first stage. And here we have a Redstone rocket, and it carried the Mercury capsule into suborbital flight. We'll go ahead inside. There's only 3 Saturn V's left. We got the one here in Houston, one in Huntsville, Alabama, and one in Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And the other 2 are mounted to the ceiling. You walk underneath it. This is the only one that sits on the ground. And this is all just the first stage. Now we're to the stage 2. Much smaller than the stage 1. Stage 1 actually dropped off and splashed into the ocean. Stage 2 actually made it all the way into space and then burned up in the atmosphere coming back. And then stage 3 went off into space. All right, I was just informed stage 2 crashed into the ocean too and didn't burn up in the atmosphere. All right, you see the whole long rocket. And then this is where the lunar module was inside behind there. And then we have the command module, which is that one, and the service module. Those are the only 2 that made it all the way to the moon, orbited the moon, along with the limb that was behind there. In the end, only the command module came back to Earth. The whole rest of this long thing was just expendable for that. This is where the lunar module would be inside of there when they were launching. The display they have in Huntsville is pretty cool because has glass windows and you can actually see the Saturn V from the interstate as you drive by, which is, I think, a pretty cool thing. And this is a new statue. This is the 3 men from Apollo 13. It almost looks like they're really standing there. All right, so the stage 3 had a single J2 engine. And the stage 2 had 5 J2 engines. And you have to remember that this is all fuel tanks. All this massive is just carrying fuel. And stage 1 had 5 massive F1 engines. These engines are so huge. I'm gonna try to walk in front of it. I don't know if you can see how massive these are. I'm actually standing right in front of it. Now just keep in mind, everything I'm saying is I'm going off of memory. I'm definitely no expert. So some of these facts may be and probably are wrong. All right, back on the tram. All right, we have a mock-up shuttle mounted to a 747. Excuse me. All right, let's go inside the 747 and check it out.
Successful flights with models led to tests using actual 747.
This is a real airplane, Declan. Sea deck on the 747 is 2 stories.
After test, John Kiker and his team finally achieved.
Looks like this is a radio controlled one. Here's if the 747 had no reinforcements.
There are many differences between living on Earth and living in space.
See how it's bending? Do this one now with the reinforcements.
The early years of SpaceX
Strong. You can see the iron reinforcements they had to hold the space shuttle. Space shuttle. I don't know, Sean Connery all of a sudden. All right, we're about to head into the shuttle. Of course, the real one wouldn't have a door like this. They've cut this into it. All right, I'm walking into the cargo bay. About to head into the mid-deck, look around, and then afterwards I'll go upstairs and check out the flight deck. I'm also right by the cargo bay. See, here's the airlock. Here's where they would normally come in and out. I don't know if you can tell how tight it is. You had 7 people in here and upstairs. Here's the airlock. That's where they would come through to do their spacewalks. They would go into this airlock, put on the spacesuit, and then go out the other airlock to do spacewalks. And we have the hatch. This is where they would enter and exit before and after missions. And right next to them, the toilet. Not a whole lot of privacy. I guess you just tell the other 6 people, turn your head. Let me do my business. And here's the cargo bay. You can see they have a satellite mounted. This is where all the cargo would sit. This would be open all the way up. They have a platform for us to stand up that I'm going to walk to in a minute. All right, let's go up and take a look. You can see the flight deck from up there also. All right, we're now upstairs. We're about to walk into the flight deck. And you can see the cargo bay. The wall would normally be right about here. And there was the 2 pilot seats. There were a few seats here, and then a few more seats in the bottom floor. I don't remember how many. Oh, cool. You can, and right here, even though they're blocked, that's the windows. And a million controls. I have no idea what they do. Let me look up. More switches. Hundreds of them. And there were 2 windows here. All right, I head back out to the cargo bay. Once again, there's the satellite in the cradle. And here along this wall, Canada arm. It can hold, in space, it can hold tons of weight and move it around with ease. Straight up, these are the payload bay doors. When in space, these would be open at all times to keep so the heat doesn't get trapped. And you can see they're reflective to reflect the heat. All right, let's head back down. After they retired the shuttle, I watched one fly over, leaving Florida, heading to Washington, D.C., I think, for retirement to be in a museum. And this is cool. This wasn't here last time. This is the first stage of a Falcon 9, SpaceX Falcon 9. If you ever see the first stage on TV that comes back and lands after launch, this is what you saw. And this one actually flew. And here's a little bit closer look at the fins that they used to guide it on the way down during landing. They feel like aluminum and wood. Yeah, there's a bit of wood, looks like. No, I don't think that's wood. All right, let's see inside the Orion. Oh, she's floating around up top. I think I'm going to touch a Mars rock. Well, it feels like Mars. Let's go see the Earth from above. I feel like I'm on the space station. This giant moon kind of reminds me of the moon in that movie with the kid that's a robot. What's it called? And the moon's chasing him. Leave me a comment on what it's called. I can't remember. What is that movie called? It's the freezer. Open it up. Get out a popsicle. See, it has a sample inside. It's like medical samples. This is the first liquid-fueled rocket made by Goddard. What's cool is it shoots the flames from the top and picks it up like a bucket. The engine's on the top, spraying down. Where modern rockets, they're on the bottom. This is the Faith 7. This is space flown. He actually flew this to space.
How did they get back?
He splashed out in the ocean and then got out. Look how tiny it is inside. One man, one small man, I would never fit in this capsule. So here's Gemini 5. That's the shield, the heat shield. And you can see the burn marks. And this one held 2 people, and it has 2 doors. Yep, they did their first spacewalk.
And they're doing the spacewalk while they're entering the atmosphere.
This is the podium that John F. Kennedy did the "We Choose to Go to the Moon" speech. It's now behind glass. I have a picture somewhere of me standing behind it. This is the Apollo 17 capsule that flew to the moon and back. Three men in that tight little thing for all those days. Let's go in the Lunar Samples Vault and look at some moon rocks.
And touch some.
And we can touch some. Ooh, very moony. You know, Declan, there's a lot of moon rocks that they don't know where they are. They got lost when they first were coming back. They were giving moon rocks to other countries as gifts and stuff. And they didn't really have good records that they were sending them. And to this day, there's a bunch that just nobody knows where they're at.
They just went, here you go.
Just
like a baby.
No, like presidents of other countries and stuff. They're serious about this. Door closes rapidly when alarm sounds. And there's this big vault door that will slam shut if you try to steal it. Here's an original mission control console from the Apollo era. Last time I was here was actually during the final Hubble mission, and I had the VIP tour, and we were sitting in mission control, the classic mission control, for a long time, 30, 45 minutes. And we had access to all the switches and buttons because they were waiting for the spacewalk to get over with so we could go to the modern mission control, which we never did. But we sat here for about 45 minutes in the actual room. It was very cool. This is a mock-up of Skylab, America's first space station. And it's just made out of a third stage of a Saturn V. Let's go inside.
Whoa! Someone's spinning.
A man doing somersaults.
How many can you do?
I wonder if they ran around this ring like in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah, we could. The white things. Oh, look at that.
Oh, he's taking a shower.
And look up. He's eating.
On the ceiling.
Oh.
He's eating right next to the guy taking a shower.
Dang.
All right, that was pretty cool. There's the Skylab with Apollo capsule connected. Here's a piece from when Skylab crashed back to Earth. Who was the 8th crew member on the STS-65? Had to be John Glenn. Hold on, definitely not Neil Armstrong.
Definitely not a velociraptor.
And not a velociraptor. Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space. He was Russian.
I thought that was Neil Armstrong.
He's the first. Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon. Hit John Glenn. Wrong. Nope. Has to be. Then it's Neil Armstrong.
What?
A velociraptor. Yes. It was a toy velociraptor. They got us. Trick question. Hop on. Let's take a look. It's like a jetpack they use in space. Well, looks like there's a big meteorite down there. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Oh, have you caught it's a meteorite? Have you seen that?
That's really cool. Well, that's it for Space Center Houston. It was a really fun trip. I hope to come back. This is a little bit far for me for just a weekend trip, but I really do enjoy it. Definitely going to go to the Space Center in Florida soon. So we got that to look forward to. I'll see you next time.